Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So in today's speed build we're actually going to be building a community lot, and this lot is actually going to be a restaurant. And it's a kind of weird shaped build, but bear with me because this is actually part of a shell challenge that I decided to do. So this is another one of the amazing It's Trose's shell challenges, and I have done one of her shell challenges before. I turned it into that like autumnal Japanese home that I did a couple of weeks ago by now, but I will leave a link on the screen to that particular video. But basically this shell challenge is all focused around the new Blooming Rooms kit that we got I think last week, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we got that kit last week and she decided to do a really fun plant themed shell challenge, and the only real rules for this particular shell challenge is the fact that obviously you can't change the shell. You can change the wall height, all of that stuff, but you can't change the actual pre-placed walls. So the shape of the shell, the size of it, anything like that, you can't change that. And you can turn it into anything you want. You can turn it into any kind of lot, any lot size, anything like that. But you need to include at least one plant in every single room. And I did actually do that. I kind of forgot about that particular part of the rules when I was building this. But funnily enough, when I went back and just checked the rules randomly, I actually saw that, that was part of it. So I went through and I checked to make sure that I did include a plant in every single room, and I actually did. I actually did that without remembering that it was a requirement. So apparently that's just how I build. Apparently I do actually use plants in every single room that I do without even thinking about it. So yeah, that's something that I did. But because we could turn this shell into anything we wanted, and because it is a really funky shape, I mean it's literally shaped like a little sprouting plant, which is so cool. But because it's such a funky shape, I actually decided to turn it into a community lot, and this is a restaurant. Now, I don't know if I mentioned that this was a restaurant at the beginning of this video. Apologies if I'm a little bit all over the place in this voiceover. I'm actually recording this at 11 in the morning, 11:30 in the morning. And yeah, so AM, which is weird because I usually never do anything in the AM apart from 3 AM or 4 AM. But usually when it's daylight outside, I tend to not do anything. I tend to be sleeping. But yeah, today I was actually up at 6:30, which is incredibly early. That's usually the time I go to bed. And I'm actually running on less than 4 hours of sleep. So yeah, I had a very I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. So if I'm a little bit all over the place and either very quiet or very exuberant, then please bear with me for that, because yeah, it's how I tend to be when I'm really sleep deprived. I tend to talk a lot when I'm tired, and usually I don't make sense when I do that. So yeah, probably not the best idea to be recording this voiceover right now, but I needed to get it done. I wanted to get it done because I haven't uploaded a video in a week, and I really wanted to get this build out for you guys. So yeah, you're just going to have to deal with me being a little bit sleep deprived in this voiceover. But yeah, so I haven't, like I said, I haven't done a video in a week. So yeah, really random segue here. But yeah, I haven't done really done a video or uploaded anything in a week. I've basically last week I hit a little bit of a slump and a little bit of a rut when it comes to content creation. I was just really tired, and it kind of coincided with my time of the month as well, which is probably also why I was so tired and I had no motivation whatsoever. So basically last week I just did the Blooming Rooms video, and then I kind of just dropped off the face of the earth, if that makes sense. So yeah, I kind of just dropped off the face of the earth for about a week or so. I was barely on any of my socials. Usually I'm on Twitter 24 hours a day almost. So yeah, usually I'm super active on Twitter and Instagram, but for last week and then the start of this week, I've kind of just dropped off the face of the planet, which is, I think, something that I really needed to do. I haven't done that in quite a while, where I've just like completely disappeared and kind of like just completely avoided my phone and opening any of my social medias or anything like that. So yeah, I think I really needed that. I really needed that little bit of like quiet, because it's something that I don't tend to get very often. Usually, like I said, I'm basically online almost 24/7. And yeah, that's it. It's basically, I just needed a little bit of a break. So yeah, apologies for kind of just like disappearing. But I did mention it over on Twitter and Instagram. So if you guys aren't following me over on those, and you're ever wondering, you know, where I am, what's going on with videos, when new videos will be up, all of that stuff, then yeah, definitely go ahead and follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, because those places are usually the first places that I will update. I sometimes also post updates in the community tab here on YouTube, but I tend to only do that when I notice that I'm going to be like missing for maybe like more than a week or so, where I'm not going to be posting for a little bit longer. Then I will usually update the community tab, but I always update Twitter and Instagram, because it's also kind of where I do a lot of ranting and just like post real life stuff as well. So if you ever want to see, you know, what's going on with my life in real life, then definitely go ahead and check out Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, so that's kind of where I have been this past week. I, like I said, just dropped off the face of the planet, and I basically avoided all forms of gaming. So I didn't really do any Sims gameplay. I didn't build at all. I didn't even play my current household or anything like that. I kind of just wanted to completely disconnect from the game and from being like online, which in my brain, whenever I even think about playing the game, I always associate it with like being online, being like working, which is something that I really do need to work on. But yeah, so last week, basically, I spent all of my time on Netflix, which is something, like I said, that I don't do that very often. I don't tend to, like, really sit down and watch shows or anything like that anymore. I tended to do that quite a lot a couple of years ago, but these days I very rarely will sit down, and especially if I'm starting something new, I tend to rewatch a lot of old stuff that I've seen 1,000 times already. But I rarely start something new, because I tend to get like super hyper focused on stuff. So I'll start a new series and then I'll like binge watch 7 seasons of it in the span of like a week, which is actually what happened last week. So whilst I was taking my like time away from online and work and stuff, I was binge watching Gilmore Girls. I actually started watching Gilmore Girls. I've never watched it before, like ever in my life. So I actually started watching Gilmore Girls, and I watched I think 6.5 seasons. I'm kind of like halfway through the 7th season. But yeah, I binged watched like 6.5 seasons in the span of like 5 days. It was literally the only thing I was doing. I wasn't doing anything else, which probably isn't the healthiest thing if I'm like looking at it like in hindsight. But that's just how I get when I start a new series and I really like it. I tend, like I said, to hyper focus so hard, and I tend to binge watch like whole seasons of shows rather than sit down and watch maybe like 1 episode, 2 episodes at a time. I'll watch a season or 2 at a time. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And yeah, I finally understand why people actually like Gilmore Girls. I never got, you know, all of that stuff. I never understood it. Like I said, I never watched it before. So I never used to get any of the references or anything like that. But it was really fun sitting down, watching the show and actually recognizing the characters, because I've heard so many people talk about the show and talk about the characters and not really spoil anything for me, but just, you know, talk about the characters, their favorite characters, why they like them, all of that stuff. It was really nice sitting down and recognizing the characters, even though I had really no idea who they were. I like recognized the names and the places and, you know, all of that fun stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, like I said, I still have to finish about the half of the not third season. Like, I need to finish the second half of the 7th season, and then I'll be done with that as well. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I also sat down and rewatched, not rewatched because a lot of them I've never seen, but I actually watched, I think, 8 or 9 of the latest Bond movies. And yeah, I've just been spending a lot of time watching stuff, which is, like I said, something I don't do too often, especially if it's not something that I've like already seen 1,000 times. So usually I'll just sit down and rewatch old like Top Gear or like Grand Tour episodes, or I'll rewatch stuff like Criminal Minds or, you know, Bones or Castle or stuff like that. Things that I've seen so many times that I don't really have to pay attention to what's happening because I already know what's happening. And I mean, with Criminal Minds, for example, I've watched it so many times that I could probably tell you everything that happens in chronological order in probably every single season. So yeah, it's a thing. But back to this build. So I haven't really talked about it too much, but basically this build is, because it was a plant themed shell challenge, it's supposed to celebrate the release of the Blooming Rooms kit. I decided to just go batshit with all of the plants. I used so many plants in this build, it's absolutely insane. There's, like I said, plants in every single room, which is kind of a requirement of the shell challenge, but I just went overboard. I used so many plants. I can't remember the last time I've used so many plants in a single build. I used a lot of the Blooming Rooms kit, but I also used a couple of other plants from other packs. I used quite a few things from the like Eco Lifestyle pack. I think that works really, really well with this kind of modern industrial style that I was going for. And then I also used a bunch of things from the Industrial Loft kit. So I think the like big doors that I ended up using, like the patio doors on, I think 3 parts of the build there, I think from the Industrial Loft kit. I also used a couple of the decorations from that kit and everything like that because it just really fit with the style that I was going for. And then yeah, a bunch of Eco Lifestyle. I think I used a bunch of things from, obviously, Dine Out because it's a restaurant. So obviously I used a lot of things from Dine Out. I think I used a couple of things from the, Journey to Batu pack. I do apologize. I usually try and avoid that pack where I can. But when I'm doing stuff like this, where I'm going for a more industrial vibe to the like style of the build, in those cases, that pack really is great for that. I mean, I don't get me wrong, it's not my favorite pack. I don't really think the game needed it at all. And I really don't like the way they, like, basically I don't really like the pack. I just like the items in the pack. And the items in the pack are actually really versatile and stuff that I would really like to use more of, because the plants in that pack are great. The tiles in that pack is great. I mean, I think I used a couple of the vents in the kitchen from the Journey to Batu pack as well. And I think there's a couple of other things. I think I used anything else from the pack in this build apart from the plants, the tile. Oh yeah, the one tree in the backyard with the different colored ribbons on it. That's actually from the Journey to Batu pack as well. And I've never used that tree. I've never looked through the like live edits menu for Journey to Batu, and I actually really, really like that tree. It doesn't look too like space themed or anything like that. It kind of just looks like a normal tree, and then it kind of looks like people have like maybe tied their wishes to it or something like that. So maybe that's something fun that could play into like the backstory for this restaurant. Maybe, you know, people that come here to eat or whatever can tie their wishes to the tree out back or something like that. And yeah, I really like that idea. So I decided to use that. And then I just used this other big red tree from, I don't really know what pack that tree is from. I think it might be from Snowy Escape, not 100% sure. And then on the inside, I like I said, just used a bunch of plants. I used this like almost curtain type thing, from the Blooming Rooms kit with the plants, and this plant curtain is probably my favorite item from that pack, or from that kit, I guess I should say. Yeah, I think it's probably my favorite item from the kit, along with those two, like, I guess, tabletop, like, plant things that I ended up using for the centerpieces on some of the tables. I think those are probably my new two favorite, like, clutter plants. And yeah, there's just, like I said, I'm just going to be placing a bunch of plants throughout this build. I, like I said, went kind of crazy with the plants. And yeah, I used a bunch of this curtain. I used it inside. I used it upstairs for the kind of like double height entryway. So the build, or the shell, I guess I should say, did have a second floor. But the second floor was a very weird shape, and it's actually really small. So I couldn't find a way of putting a staircase inside to kind of use that. So I just decided to delete the floor, put windows all around it, and make it kind of like almost a skylight kind of thing for the like downstairs restaurant bit. And then upstairs, on the roof, I actually put this cute little, like, not balcony, but outdoors eating space. And then we just have a little like deck on the side as well. And that's actually how you access the upstairs, and you can eat outside at the back. And yeah, there's just a bunch of different seating spaces, a bunch of like outdoor dining. But I also wanted to make sure to include a couple of indoor tables as well, in case, you know, the weather in your world isn't super great or whatever. Or maybe you want to go here during the winter or when it's raining or whatever, so your Sims can still sit inside if, you know, they want to. And then at the back, I actually also included a greenhouse, because I thought it would be a great way for... It would be a great, I guess, kind of, not backstory, but a great idea to say that, you know, maybe whoever owns this restaurant makes a lot of, like, organic food, and they use a lot of organic produce and, you know, really healthy food and stuff like that. So you wouldn't come here for, like, a slice of pizza, for example. But yeah, I kind of try to make the menu reflect that as well. So I did set up a custom menu for the restaurant, and I did a couple of the like staff outfits, changed up all of them and everything like that. So everything should be good to go if you wanted to download this. But basically the idea with the greenhouse was that they would grow a lot of their own produce. So I actually went in and put in actual like plants and stuff in the greenhouse before I took the screenshots and uploaded it. So I think there's like a lemon tree. I think I ended up going with a lemon tree, an avocado tree, and I think a cherry tree. I can't exactly remember, or maybe a pomegranate tree. I can't remember the other tree that I did, but then I also did a bunch of different herbs and a bunch of different fruits. No, I don't think I put in any fruits. I think I put in a bunch of different herbs. So like basil and sage and all of that stuff. And then I also included a bunch of different vegetables. So like onions, carrots. I think I did every vegetable, I think. So yeah, there's a bunch of different produce growing that your Sims can also harvest if they come to like eat here, and they maybe, you know, want to take a couple of things home for, you know, their own home garden or something. Maybe the restaurant actually sells some of the produce, you know, along with being a restaurant. Maybe they actually sell some of their homegrown stuff for people to actually buy and stuff like that. So yeah, that was just a fun little like extra thing that I thought of. And yeah, that's basically this whole build. But like I said, if you want to download it, it is up on the gallery already. You can find it by searching for my gallery ID or for hashtag ChrissieYT, which is all of this information is always in the description in case you want to download any of the stuff that you see me creating. But you can also find it by searching for hashtag Trose Planty Shell. Now I will have this hashtag in the description down below, and I'll also have a link to Trose's Twitter post that she did where she explains all of, you know, the rules and stuff for the shell challenge. And this challenge is actually running until the 6th of December, I think. So you still have quite a bit of time in case you want to actually participate in this yourself. So I will leave all of that information down below. I'll also leave a link below to Trose's Twitch, where she streams, I think, 3 or 4 days a week. But yeah, I think actually she streams 5 days a week, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I'll leave all of that information down below in case you guys want to go ahead and check out her content as well, which I would highly recommend. But I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, give the video a like, and if you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. I hope you're all having a great day and a great week, and I'll talk to you in my very next video. Bye everyone!
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air, and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all. Hand in hand, building castles out of sand.